Well, good morning. Welcome to Raising the Cane. This is
Yeah.
another exciting episode of Raising the Cane. Thank you for joining us. We have an exciting episode. And who's with me today?
Sandra, I'm here. Good morning and have a wonderful day. Welcome to our podcast and our show.
And I'm Maurice, and I want to wish a happy new year or Nowruz to all of our friends and listeners in Iran. It's the Iranian New Year, as well as the first day of spring here in the Western Hemisphere, and also the International Day of Happiness and Buzzard Day.
All right.
So we want to say, Happy New Year to Iranian friends here listening
Yes,
to us
Happy
and
New
watching
Year.
us. And Buzzard Day, I don't know about saying Happy Buzzards Day, but it's okay. Buzzards.
Every year around this time in the Hinckley Township in Medina County, Ohio, buzzards return to town.
Really?
Wow.
And it's very similar to the swallows returning to San Juan Capistrano here in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
And I think it has to do with the migratory patterns because the buzzards have been coming there since the 19th century.
Wow. Buzzards.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me write down buzzards. Maurice gave us some education. Did you know?
Did you know?
Buzzards.
So there's still time to send out those Buzzard Day cards to your friends and family.
Wow, you heard it here first on Raising the Cane.
Yes.
And please subscribe to our podcast and our show on YouTube and hit the notification to get notifications when we have new episodes.
That's right.
Plug us. Share it with your friends and family.
Yes.
Okay. And let me tell you, this show, we don't tell you always what you expect to hear, but what we feel you need to hear. Okay.
Amen.
So, and it's our opinion, and we don't give financial advice, medical advice, and all that other advice. You see licensed professionals for that. We're here to give our opinion and our take and our experience, share our experience with you.
Exactly.
So thank you. We already got an education from Maurice with the buzzards and the swallows, and we'll be in San Juan Capistrano tomorrow, by the way. So if we say a swallow, we'll say hello.
On location.
So, but what do you think about these oil prices? Go to the gas stations and wow, it's like approaching $6 where we're at. It's very close to it. And I think when you add the tax onto what we're paying, it's probably $6.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, and we'll talk about what's behind the prices as well as inflation in general and all the other things that go with money as far as housing, affordable housing and everything else. But let's stick to, what do you think about the pump? Is it costing you?
Oh, definitely. I believe that is going to, economically is going to cost a lot to the general population, especially those that are in the retail businesses. Is going to be horrible. Imagine those people earning the minimum wage and have to travel to go to their, although there's more telework, but mostly in the industries where, services industries, that's going to hit hard for those employees. As it is, we're seeing that we hardly have companies or stores opening their full hours because they don't have people to come to work, and it's going to get worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. What about you, Maurice?
There's that discussion in California specifically about the governor's preferred and proposed $400 gas tax rebate check approach to alleviating some of the distress at the pump. And that's his response to the state GOP suggestion that the gas tax itself be suspended, or, in my view, just speaking ex cathedra, if you will, a complete abolition of the gas tax.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me there's this obsession in this particular state of California to make everything a universal entitlement, or because what the idea of a $400 gas tax rebate would be is eliminating at least some of the economic pain and suffering for people who have to drive. And Sandra addressed that in terms of retail and how transportation costs raise up the price of various goods and commodities because they're passing it on. Manufacturers and retailers, they're not absorbing that. They're going to pass it on, just like they do with taxes and fees and regulations. And though, from the blue side of the political posture, they don't like eliminating the gas tax or reducing it. And some of them don't necessarily even want it to apply the rebate idea to all Californians, because they still have this war on billionaires. Why should Zuckerberg, the founder and owner of Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus, among other companies, receive the same benefit? But the idea is that anyone who files a state income tax return should rightfully be eligible to receive the $400 gas tax rebate check, which, if you go along with it, if it's approved in Sacramento, it makes sense to give it to everyone. So
I wanted to add to that. Sandra and I were actually discussing this, I believe, yesterday. How ridiculous it is for a rebate. It doesn't make sense. And not to take any sides on a particular party, but it just sounds not bright to me to give a rebate versus suspend and eliminate tax. Why do we have to pay money, then wait for you to give it back to us? If you really care about our financial well-being, the middle class and poor people, you will just, at the very minimum, suspend it for a year or two, X number of time, so people could just keep their money. So you have to wait till you file a tax return in 12 months, 8 months, 10 months to get your money back. You need money today to buy bread and baby formula for your baby. You say, in 10 months from now, I'll get it back in my taxes. Really?
And you're going to be paying, and in the long run, you're going to be paying way more in taxes than a $400. That is just to tell you, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. 400 divided by how many times you go to the pump.
Yes.
Like in California, what is it, 50 cents or something, or whatever it is? And you divide through the numbers and stuff, it won't add up. And it's like, plus, again, people need money today. It's fine to tell me I'm going to have this money in 2023, but it's ridiculous for people that need money today to have to wait until they do their tax returns for a rebate. Again, they're trying to exclude certain groups, but you know what? Whoever contributes to this economy, they should get a break on taxes.
So you don't think that way. And I want to give a shout out, even if it's somewhat partisan nature, to Kevin Kiley, one of the California lawmakers who represents a constituency in Rockland, because he brought this up to the Democrat-controlled state assembly this past Monday, but it was voted down, and he's going to keep at it. And because, I think the logic and the economics, and even real world compassion is on the side of gas tax suspension or abolition. I mean, if you cared about working families, if you cared about small businesses, if you cared about the ability of commuters to do more than just throw away an entire paycheck just going to and from work, because much of the working commercial world now, it has returned to reporting to offices, plants, factories, business parks, industrial zones, and that we're beyond the lockdown era of telework, which never really was viable for certain professions and jobs anyway. You can't telework plumbing.
Nope.
If somebody got to put some electrical wiring in your kitchen, you can't do that teleworking.
Mm-mm.
You sure? You sure about that?
Well,
Restaurants.
So yeah. So yeah, it's just so the end with the rebate and the tax. It's just they still don't want to do enough to help people, in my opinion. So they try to make things fancy. This is not complicated when you really desire to help people, and you should desire to help everyone that contributes to, as far as businesses too, with the jobs and stuff. Yes.
And I didn't mean to interrupt, but just to interject, and I'm on the wavelength. I'm not contradicting what you said, but it's like they don't really have a grounding in the economic world. They don't really understand the impact that it really has. I mean, I have as you know, a Passat that runs on diesel. I wasn't even at the halfway point the other day, and I had to put in $81.
Man.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think until the last few weeks I had ever done that. I mean, mostly it was, at the same point, $30, $40, $50 was a previous peak.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was outrageous.
Yes.
That was the good old days.
I used to fill up the tank with $40. Now it's 80.
Serious?
80 something. Yeah.
It's that's double. Crazy. Yeah. This is, there is so much that actually can be done. Let's say you throw out the $400 gas tax rebate check idea. Throw away the suspension of the California gas tax. What they need to do is to reopen refineries. And I mean, I'm just talking about California. I mean, I'm talking about what they're doing in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, elsewhere. California. Eliminate that MTBE additive that they put in California gasoline that makes it impossible to sell anywhere else. Reauthorize the offshore drilling rigs on the Santa Barbara coast. And contrary to what the some of the folks in Washington, because I was going to use some words, but I'll be controlled. They keep talking about how some of the oil companies are not using their leases, and they're being disingenuous because yes, they're giving out leases to oil companies, but they're not giving out the drilling permits. See, so you're leasing the lands where you can drill,
but you're not allowing it.
It's not issuing the permits so you can drill. So they're giving you the leases, but not the permits. So and
yeah, like a deal with the devil.
Deal with the devil.
Deal with the devil.
Deal with it, and regardless of people's positions on the prior administration in DC, and it was a controversial one. The United States was energy independent, and we were exporting petroleum to other countries. Think about it. We had enough for our own domestic needs, residential, business, military, vehicular. We had heating oil for the Midwest and the East Coast, and we had enough that we could send overseas. And I think that the Europeans, who aren't always operating in their best interests, you look at World War I and World War II, they became extremely dependent upon their nasty neighbor to the east, the Russian Federation, for gasoline and natural gas. And I think there's something bad happening there, if I remember correctly, right? Somewhere in the vicinity of Ukraine. And this is what happens when you become dependent upon evil regimes. They take advantage. It's like Hitler talked to British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain and to his French counterpart back in the day and said, we just want the German-speaking part of Czechoslovakia called Sudetenland. If you allow us to recover it, we'll go our separate ways. Well, once you appease despotic, tyrannical power grabbers and megalomaniacs, they're never satisfied. You cannot appease them. And I'm talking about our governor. I'm talking about our federal government. And I'm talking about Putin. And Putin is worse than the other two. But I think people need to grab the reins of their own self-determination. Just like the Ukrainian freedom fighters. I mean, you got teens, you got grandmothers, you've got people in wheelchairs fighting for their country. You know, they're not waiting for us to do anything. Some of the requests are reasonable. They're not waiting for that, though. And I think it's a principle that we need to apply in our own lives and in our own relationships. And whether you're dealing with some toxic sibling who hasn't gotten over some grievance that's 12 years old, or whether you're talking about some coworker that doesn't know the meaning of hard work or collaboration, or whether you're talking about elected officials who are more interested in self-enrichment than community engagement, I think we need to look at ourselves in the mirror, kind of like Michael Jackson, his best song ever, Man in the Mirror, and say, what can I do to make the lives of my family, my community, my state, my nation, and even my world better?
Yes, in agreement.
Yeah, so.
Well said.
Well said. Wow, how do we follow up with that? Yeah.
And I didn't even have any coffee this morning.
Didn't have any coffee. So, you know, so with what Mari said in our topic, we're talking at the end of the day about money, and you know, this inflation thing. I think I mentioned this before on a previous podcast, that the government isn't being transparent as far as the true nature of the inflation. Like here, they're saying what, 7.5% or whatever, but again, it's already in the double digits. It's like when you let's say a pork roast was $12, now it's $40. I mean, just do the math. Because if you did $12 into 7.5% or 8%, that doesn't equate to $40.
Right.
Just basic math. It doesn't. So obviously it's really high. It's in the 2 digits, arguably in certain things in the 3 digits. And so if the governments of the world, especially our state, our country, United States, you know, if you really care about the folks on the bottom half of the totem pole, you would institute things to truly help them, where they can teach them how to fish, and you know, making the cost of education or even hospitalization reasonable.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Where everything, the prices is crazy and unjustifiable.
Right.
And and for the folks that keep making poor decisions, you say, well, we still have to be humanitarian toward people that keep doing stupid. You know, and where's the fine line?
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about, you know, things, you know, because our show, we don't want to just bash people. We want to mention things. What can I do if I'm struggling? Now, you get in life planning, encompasses everything. What do you want your life to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to live your life? And my book that is partially out on online, and the hardback book covers coming out, Live the Life You Always Wanted, is subtitle. And in so many ways, that could be, I could flip that and say that's the main title, Live the Life You Always Wanted, that you want. And how do I do that? You know, first of all, in the marketplace, your earning potential. You know, do I go to college? Do I go to vocational college or school? And, you know, in our day, you know, they promoted the 4-year college degree, but even then, you still needed plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and people that didn't need to go to college.
Right.
And without them, you wouldn't have a house, you wouldn't have plumbing, you wouldn't have heat, you wouldn't have. So, as you know, our father heavily supported the trades and was educational director in the Carpenters Union at one point here in California. So I'm all for that. And so you have to you have to start on your path, and especially to the young people or people listening to this, you need to start sooner than later. Okay?
Yes.
It's okay to find yourself, but you may need to JOB till you find yourself. It sounds like a rap in the making here, some kind of rap.
Yeah.
And Notorious JOB.
Yeah. And we were at some point all confused what I want to be in life, what is my vocation. So focus on that. And I would encourage spending time with that, you know, because there's going to be a heavy price for a lot of good times and not getting down to business.
Yes.
Yes.
Your parents,
and you have to have some logic, some judgment, and a lot of sacrifice. You know, a lot of people go by the looks, go by, those people, look at those people with a Mercedes, and you don't have enough money to buy a Mercedes. So use your judgment.
Buy a Pinto.
Yeah. I mean, you have to start small. You have to think big, but you need to live your life small first.
Right.
You have to save, you have to invest, you have to plan to when you have that and you have enough, that you will be able to live the life of big shots. And to be honest with you, a lot of people that have money do not need to show anybody that they have it, because they do. So why to go and show off to people?
Yes, the people that don't really have it. It's the people that really don't have it is the ones that want to show off. And the people, the green-eyed monster, Maurice already alluded to it. People jealous of other people, envious, and you know, and we don't care. I don't care about your education. You know, that you could have PhDs and everything in the world, but if you don't have your life together, and you're just trying to pretend to be someone else and compete with people that you really can't compete with, and you shouldn't. You should be you. That's why I said be you. You know, someone has a Lamborghini. Well, I can't do that today. But you know what? Even if I had the money, I don't think I would buy a $500,000 car. That's just me, Michael K.
Yeah.
I you know, but if I wanted to, I could. But I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that I'm not.
Somebody else that you're not. You know, see, and eventually people will follow you by your actions and will feel you. You know, nobody needs to tell you, oh, I have this, I got this. You know, the people that talk the most are the people that, you know, die by their mouth. People are not going to follow you. They're not going to believe in you. It is who you are, what you do with your heart, what you do with compassion, your humanity, your, you know, humbleness. That's what the heroes that people look for. So, and when you live like that way, then it's better. And to be honest with you, you feel better inside. Pretending to be somebody else will never get you will never be happy.
Right.
Will never get you to where you need to go, because you will be owned by those people. When you think about others, then they own you. You're not yourself.
That's right.
So
yeah, and you're making a comment. Thank you, Sandra, for that. MR,
yeah, that's great.
And you're saying, yeah, it is. We're recording this, so please listen to this podcast and this show. You know, you diminish yourself, and you have an air of devaluing yourself when you don't think of yourself as just as important as other people.
Exactly.
And that importance doesn't necessarily mean you have to have what they have.
Exactly.
You know, I have to, what is it called? Living up to the Joneses. And sorry about our family that are Jones. They're Joneses.
That's right.
Sorry,
No
we'll give you a shout
intended.
out. No offense. But you're living like the Joneses. But it's trying to keep up with other people is what the expression means. And you don't have to keep up with nobody but yourself and your family.
Exactly.
And, you know, and especially these lottery winners, you don't know how many, if you watch shows that say 70, 80% in 5 years are broke. They're not only where they started, they're worse than how they started. Less money than when they started, before they bought that lottery ticket and that scratcher, and now they're broke. Don't do it. This is a money show. Today we're going to talk, you know, everything we talk about ends up about money, directly or indirectly. Lottery, you know, that's why you got to know who you are. So if you do win the lottery, you don't do stupid. You don't do stupid. In fact, I'm gonna write a book called "Don't Do Stupid." Don't do stupid. I am. That's a good title. Don't do stupid, and don't be ashamed if you have to buy it and put it in a brown paper bag. Someone's gonna see me buy this book. Don't do stupid. Doing stupid is spending all your money, not saving any, and not creating an environment to increase your income. You know, or putting yourself, having a lifestyle you can't afford. If you can't afford 9 kids, don't have 9 kids. That's right. That's and we know people. Yeah. You know, they'll constantly brag that they have all these Michael Kors purses, and they'll boast, I have 2 master's degrees, even if you're talking about a Stephen King novel. You have people who haven't fulfilled their obligations to the condo where they're living, and then they purchase real estate they can't afford, and then a SUV the size of Montana, and at the same time, still buying up jewelry and fancy clothes and envious about other people. And this is a specific person I'm referring to, and I don't know if she's listening. She probably won't, because it doesn't have anything to do with her ego and megalomania and her self-loathing, which is probably untreated psychosis. I couldn't say it's a secret psychosis, because she apparently erupts into outbursts of revenge and resentment. But the basic point, as Michael said, and Sandra has stated, would be to have a moderate and pragmatic cognizance of your earnings. You want to maximize them naturally, and you want to devote a significant portion of them to accounts and investments in which your money can grow.
And people have different philosophies. Some are more moderate, some are more aggressive. And a lot of it depends, obviously, on your income, your age, perhaps some of your aspirations. But the essential idea is, you kind of have to develop that mindset of being oriented around the assets that you presently possess and can reasonably gain. And just to kind of piggyback on what Michael Saunders said, not focusing on the Joneses, those your relatives, your neighbors, your colleagues, celebrities, the newsmakers, the social media influencers. They all have some different situation. Yeah, if you're Kim Kardashian, you can get Michael Kors purses every day. If you Jane Q Public, maybe you need to focus on something else.
Yeah, and so you just gotta get your financial house in order. And there's so many YouTubers out there and books and about how to save, how to budget. I even did some podcasts on that, how to invest in some stocks and maybe real estate or whatever. I know crypto is a thing now. And so there's various avenues. You could put aside $25, $50 a month. And you know how I know you can? Because you're spending that money going out to wherever, spending that money to buy stuff, to do stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, savings and investing. And you could maybe not go out 1 or 2 days in a week and put that money you save and invest it. And I like David Bach, Automatic Millionaire. He talks about this through his latte factor about, when people say I can't afford, those are fighting words for him and me too. I get my calculator out. Let's see what you spend every day, what you do every day. Oh, you mean that's a necessity and this a necessity? They buy stuff, whatever stuff is, to consume or to save or to hoard. And you almost everyone, with certain exceptions, has sufficient capital to save for a rainy day, to invest for the future. So in 30, 40, 50 years from now, when you retire, you have sufficient financial resources and you can enjoy your life. You don't have to spend your time being jealous of people because you already have your stuff.
Right.
Simple as that. I'm making it sound simple because it is. You just have to be willing. Most of you, 99%, are able. So I don't want to hear the BS. Well, I can't. Yes, you can. What did you just buy yesterday? Let me hear it. What did you get today? That doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy your life. Not saying that. But when you're, especially out of the womb, growing up, you're supposed to be an accumulator. Okay? Accumulator. You accumulate your resources and have fun along the way, because life is not, we're not immortals. So yes, have
balance.
Balance.
You have to have balance.
Have fun.
Right.
Don't want to be lecturing and stuff, but I know I keep hearing the same excuses. Oh, I can't. Yes, you can. Simple as get. You just maybe not doing what you need to do, and some folks are just being outright foolish and destructive. You're setting your butt on fire.
So true. And this may seem like an off the wall analogy, but we're in the midst of March Madness, which began last week here in the United States. It's the month-long tournament involving the men's college basketball programs, the top 69 teams that play university level basketball, right? And they seed the teams in 4 different regions. Like number 1, obviously, is a top seeded team in a particular region. Number 15 is the lowest seeded team. All right. So 1 is obviously better than 2, better than 3, better than 4, etc. All right. St. Peter's Peacocks, a small Catholic school in Jersey City, New Jersey, the Garden State, defeated Kentucky, one of the premier college basketball programs of all time in the history of the planet. They beat them.
Wow.
St. Peter's has a fraction of the student enrollment of the University of Kentucky, hosted by the legendary coach John Calipari.
Okay.
That devastated the sports world. But do you think St. Peter's was satisfied with that? They played their second game yesterday against another team from the bluegrass state of Kentucky, Murray State. Murray State was also higher ranked than St. Peter's Peacocks. Final score, 70-60, St. Peter's won again. This was a team that nobody thought highly of. And if they thought of them at all, they wouldn't have had any respect for them because they're small. They didn't have basketball pedigree. People didn't even know where they were located. In fact, during an average morning, Costco, any Costco, has more people in it than attend St. Peter's.
Wow.
So what am I saying? That's saying you can't listen to the detractors and the skeptics and the critics who say, no, you don't have the learning. You don't have the know-how. Nobody in your family ever did this, did they? Who do you think you are? Warren Buffett? Bill Gates? Jeff Zuckerberg? Steve Jobs? Jeff Bezos? Well, who were they before they became who they are today?
Mm-hmm.
And St. Peter's is you.
Good.
You don't eat $400 meals at get some gastropub in the Bay Area, do you? Sometimes your kids want to go to Mickey D's, and sometimes you want to take them, and sometimes you do. But, in all due respect, you can't live a healthy life eating McDonald's every day. And it's probably not affordable on a quotidian basis either. And even though McDonald's is more affordable than the $400 a plate gastropub, where you're consuming gold, which somehow is digestible, but you know something? It comes out the same hole as a hamburger does, or a prime rib, or a tri-tip that you barbecue yourself. It comes out the same place. And 2 hours from the time of elimination, or 2 weeks, or 2 years, are you saying to yourself, damn, that was a great $400 gold-flected sesame seed roll?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say with that one. But I'd rather invest in gold than to eat gold. I know that. Yeah. If you guys are eating gold ice cream, he's referring to ice cream that you could actually buy gold and eat it.
Yeah, gold ice cream.
And if you don't even have $50 in your savings account, may not be a smart move. But
no.
But eating gold. I don't know. Okay, about that. But well, when we have arrived to the mountaintop, when we can start eating gold, and then we'll do that. I don't know. Teach his own.
Give me one of those platinum burgers.
Yeah, platinum. Yeah, I don't know how rough that's going to be on the other side. But
well, you make it into a powder.
powder on the other side. Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah.
you got a
You
good
guys.
repository.
Yeah. It's
Get
going
some
to be,
Balox.
be kind of rough. It kind
That's
of,
a roughage.
Oh
Well, they say you should eat more
man.
roughage.
what in
They
the
say
night?
you should eat more roughage.
Yeah. Just bear down. Bear down.
Bite the bullet. Bite the
Bite the
bullet.
bullet. Let's bear down.
Bear
You
down.
guys. You
Better have some good,
guys.
better have some good like toothpaste though. You know,
Yeah.
get that so that enamel doesn't wear out.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Get one of those credit.
so
Go one of those credit dentists. You don't have to pay now.
yeah. So,
It's all there.
yeah. So, but I want to leave some quotes and stuff, some things, for those who are following my law of success with Napoleon Hill. I'm going to continue with self-confidence soon, but the 21st edition. But I want to read you something because I think it's appropriate for the conversations we're having here. So, as we're talking about your success and life here and things we could do, but let me read something to you. You can always become the person you would have liked to be. It sounds simple, but when you say, "Oh, the ship has sailed, it's too late," no, it's not too late. Not
Never.
too late. Never too late. Instead of being jealous about so and so over there, John here, Maria over there, and Steve over there, be you, do you, but improve who you are. Okay, instead of being jealous, you can always become the person you would like to be. There's still time. It's not, now true, life has a clock. You're only going to live so long. So I wouldn't put this off in another 5 years. May not be here. Okay. So, and how long have you already pulled it off? So, and I want to read some other stuff here. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in a state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are.
Wow.
You've got to think high to rise. If you got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man or woman. But soon or late, the man or woman who wins is the one who thinks he can.
Amen.
Yes, indeed.
Amen.
So
it's awesome.
You have to develop your self-confidence and your will to succeed and to move forward. And so procrastinating doesn't serve any good. Now plan and research and do your homework, but you got to start today so your life tomorrow is the life you always wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Amen.
So don't be jealous of others if they have a Lamborghini or McLaren or $1 million car. Just let it be. Let it be. Just let it be. And you know what? Take an inventory of. I like to get a sheet of paper, the good things and the bad things that you do that are happening good to you now, things that are bad, and things you want good to happen, and say, a plan of action? What can I do to change this?
Exactly.
You can keep listening to this Raising the Cane. Okay.
There you go.
Self-serving.
That's a good choice, though.
And
yes.
yeah. And so plan to succeed, because if you don't, they say, what is that expression? If you don't, you plan to fail automatically.
So true. So true.
So nobody here is a failure. You're only a failure when you just give up.
That's right. Okay.
Because I like another thing that Napoleon Hill said, that it's to paraphrase, it's success is hidden within that defeat, within those things you perceive as failure. When you don't succeed at something, well, you're one step closer to success. Because to succeed, there are going to be battles you lose.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the one that continues to take that poem, "Don't Quit," they usually say it at funerals a lot. Don't quit. That next step could be that step that you've longed for, waited for, to be on that path to success. So,
Amen.
okay.
Amen.
So wanted to sow some seeds in you, and
excellent.
And one last thing, and I'm going to quote Buddha here. This is no religious stuff, just Buddha, because there's some wise stuff in a lot of folks here.
Yes.
We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
With our thoughts, we make the world.
Yeah.
We make the world. So make your world. Folks, make your world.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been a good show. Any last thoughts, anyone?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Hey.
I'm so glad you have. I'm so glad you have. One is a shout out, and the other one is a rest in peace. The first is the outcome of the 37th annual Los Angeles Marathon.
Okay.
The winners, Delvine Marangor of Kenya, and second place, John Corrier of Kenya. And this 37th edition of the City of the Angels 26.2 mile endurance extravaganza featured 15,000 runners covering 26.2 miles, beginning at historic Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine, located in Elysian Park. It went through downtown Los Angeles, turning in a northwest direction past Echo Park Lake, which is, of course, beautiful, where they have the annual Lotus Festival dedicated to Asian culture and cuisine.
Didn't you get married? You got married close to that, didn't you?
Close to it, exactly.
Yeah.
And into Hollywood, Beverly Hills, West Los Angeles, and ending up, appropriately enough, at Avenue of the Stars in Century City.
Oh, okay.
And tremendous. So shout out to Delvin Marangor and John Corrier, both of the East African country of Kenya.
Wow.
And also, of course, to show that there is that yin and yang. So rest in peace to Don Young, age 88.
Wow.
He was the single congressman of the state of Alaska. He moved to Alaska from his native state of California in 1959, the same year that Alaska entered the Union. He was a stalwart, cantankerous, controversial, crotchety, humorous, brilliant congressman who was first elected in 1973. And although conservative in many respects, he brought home the pork to Alaska. And that made him controversial. He was an old-fashioned politician. He was investigated by the FBI for corruption. He was fined $60,000 for commingling campaign funds with his personal expenses. So the man wasn't an angel. So, but at the same time, I think part of the theme of this show is that you don't have to be an angel or a saint to do well for yourself or your family. You're accountable for the moral and ethical decisions that you make. But I think if you look at the whole gestalt of our lives, none of us are going to be emerging without some blemish, without some flaw, without a certain degree of regret or recrimination. So you do the best that you can. You become better than the man or the woman, the boy or the girl that you were the day before. That yesterday may have consequences that linger, but it's gone. Tomorrow is something you can plan for today. And through all of the darkest thunderstorms, when tornadoes are on the horizon, when hurricanes in your life have caused you despair and heartache and late night crying, remember, sooner or later, that sun will rise
Mm-hmm.
and you will rise.
Mm-hmm.
You're imagine yourself like the mythological phoenix emerging from the smoldering heap of ashes
Mm-hmm.
from your prior incarnation. And that say, to quote a certain civil rights leader back when he still had his ethical feet on the ground, say, I am somebody.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Okay, I am somebody.
We
So
are.
yeah,
We
That's right.
are. We are the essence of creation, the manifestation of love. You just have to believe you are so that you can act upon it. You know, everything that we live in this life is for a reason. It's a learning experience, but what you do with those experiences what matters.
Yeah.
You know, everything is a new day. Every day is a new day, a new beginning. So we always have to think positive, move forward, and keep on doing, you know, what is within your heart. You know, you have to have that connection, the soul connection, to
Yeah.
be able to live in a life that is productive, compassionate, and be able to do unto others, you know, do unto others what you will want them to do to you. So there's
Yes.
always that rule. And no matter where you are, at the place that you are, in the state that you are, if you are true to yourself, you will be happy. You know,
amen.
and not
Amen.
nothing is
Yes,
guaranteed to anybody.
No.
Everything that you have to, you know, work for it, but you have to have some sacrifice. And I would like to end today with I would like to send my love to my daughter. My daughter lost, you know, a beautiful bird today. You might be thinking it's silly, but sometimes the little things bring so much love and light into your life. And this little bird was free and was able to speak. It's a parakeet, and we love that it brought so much light even to my mother, which is 94. So sometimes you have to, you know, those little things in life that you love, you have to honor. And right now, that's what I'm doing, is honoring, you know, those animals, those pets that we
yeah,
have that bring so much light and love to ourselves. So to
Yeah.
all the animal lovers out there that lost, you know, one of their um, animal guides, as I call it, you know, we're honoring them today.
Amen.
yes, yeah. I will definitely miss Buddy was his name,
Buddy.
and it's sad, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just this no words really other than what Sandra said. It's you know, it's you know, and the thing about animals, they're part of the family. They can
Yeah.
Yes.
be, and um, they bring you things you just can't get from people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you know, similar, but it's just different. You know,
Hmm.
because they do it without thought. They just do it instinctively and bring you that sunshine and that joy with no,
Yes.
you know, it's just
Unconditionally.
unconditional. And yeah,
Yeah.
that he maybe he was very small, but he brought a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, happiness to
Yeah.
the family. And again, condolences. You know, I know we say condolences to people, but again, animals are part of the family, so
Yes.
I want to treat them as such. And so, anyway, well, it's been a insightful.
One more thing relative to that.
Okay, one more thing.
And in fact, what you guys was talking about, this is a powerful book by Susan Orlean called On Animals, and I finished it this week actually for the Reading Becomes Eclectic book club. And Susan Orlean is an author of several other books, like The Orchid Thief and The Library Book, which was about the horrific destruction of much of the LA Central Library's collection in a blaze that is thought to be arson. Her current book, On Animals, is about several different types of beasts, ranging from rabbits to tigers to donkeys. And her particular love was for chickens. And it's a very interesting book. She has a genuine love of animals. And I think it just, I hadn't intended to mention it, but when Sandra and Mike were talking about Buddy, the beloved parakeet, and of course they have a relation to it. And I met Buddy, and he seemed to be a prince of parakeets. It just kind of resonated. You know, that's a book, I think, that you read it and you feel that sense of connection to animals. You know, you'll never look at certain animals the same way again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for Raising the Cane crew. With that said, thank you for watching our show, and please subscribe and hit the notification buttons and share it with your friends and family. And until next time, this is Raising the Cane.
Raising the Cane. Go St. Peter's.
Out. See you later. Until next time.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.